Attorneys in the James Whitey Bulger trial are getting down to business today as they go over 775 questionnaires, 13 pages each, trying to narrow down the jury pool. And our Alysha Palumbo spoke with an expert about this process. She joins us live from the federal courthouse in Boston with more on it. Hi, Alysha.
Hi, Bridget. Attorneys are very busy today going over this jury questionnaire, trying to get a better sense of the jury pool from which the final 18 jurors will be chosen. It's clearly no easy task, and that's why they've been given an extra 2 days to do it.
Attorneys for reputed South Boston mob boss James Whitey Bulger and the government prosecutors who hope to finally convict him of 19 murders spanning 3 decades are hard at work poring over hundreds of lengthy juror questionnaires to try to eventually impanel a jury of 18 men and women.
The goal is to try and get the best possible jurors that will do what you want. Everyone says we want a fair and impartial jury. That's not what we want at all.
Federal court trial lawyer and Mass School of Law Associate Dean Micheal Coyne says he expects the attorneys are ranking the prospective jurors on a simple scale in order of whom they believe would be most likely to side with their case.
The 10s are the ones I want and must have, the ones are the people I don't want to have, and then there's a lot obviously in between that you can ultimately live with. But the more 10s I get, the more ones I keep off, the greater the chance that I have of succeeding.
Coyne says jurors who think they'll be excused from service just because they've read a book about Bulger or have watched coverage of this case may be surprised.
You're not entitled to a jury that hasn't heard about this case. Frankly, you wouldn't want a juror that hasn't heard about this case because either they are lying or they live under a rock.
He says what U.S. District Court Judge Denise Casper is ultimately looking for is 12 jurors and 6 alternates who can put aside what they know about this case and focus on the evidence being presented in the courtroom. Coyne says that's why extending the time to go over juror questionnaires was so critical in selecting this jury.
Those days will be as important to this trial as any, because those are the people that ultimately will sit and determine Whitey's fate.
Now, coming up on NECN at 4 and 5, I'll have more on the next steps in the jury selection process, and I'll have Micheal Coyne's take on Whitey Bulger's chances of being found not guilty. Bridget?
Alysha Palumbo live at the federal courthouse in Boston, and we'll continue to follow the case for you on the air and online at NECN.com. With Alysha tweeting live from inside the courtroom as proceedings continue. You can follow her. Her handle is @AlyshaNECN.